All right, guys, welcome back to another Master and Apprentice video and podcast. This is usually a video we do kind of near the summertime when the next wave of Lego Star Wars sets come out. But we thought we were going to kind of change that going forward. Starting at the end of each year, we're going to give the previous year's whole rundown and ranking of all the Lego Star Wars playsets. And this is playsets. Mostly, we're not going to be really doing any of the 18 plus sets. So that means no UCS, none of the Diarama, none of the helmet series or the MIDI series, just because that's not something we really collect. That's not something we really review. I mean, if you guys want us to do an exception, we definitely can, but it's just not something we usually rank on here. They're just two different things, apples and oranges, really. So we're going to just stick with the play sets for now. And this is all the sets that came out this year, 2020, or last year, sorry, 2023. Starting here at the bottom of our list, we've got number 21, and that is going to be Boba Fett's Starfighter Microfighter, set 75344, retail for $9.99, 85 pieces with one minifigure. I personally am not a big fan of microfighters in general. I try to be as unbiased as I can, but this one really wasn't hitting for me. I thought it was a lazy build, especially the cockpit piece, the rotating wing pieces, all of that. I just thought they could have put a little more effort in. I know it's a microfighter, but I still think they could have put more effort in. And on top of that, I still think it's absolutely ridiculous that they're using two different colors of green for Boba Fett. You know, the green body printing and the helmet printing green are just different. And I think it looks, I mean, on the box, you can't really tell the difference, but in hand and in person, I just think it looks goofy and dumb. And that mixed with my bias of just not liking microfighters, this goes to the bottom of the list for us.
Yep. Number 20, we got the Mandalorian's in-one microfighter. Set number 75363, $16, 88 pieces, and 2 minifigures. The reason this is really that low is because it's $16 for a microfighter. We just got the other one, Boba Fett, which we didn't like for our personal reasons, but if they released this exact one, it's 3 more pieces, and they consider another minifigure. Pretty much they're saying Grogu is worth $6.
Yeah.
That's really what this is saying.
What?
It's not much better than the Boba Fett's microfighter, Boba Fett Starship Slave 1's build. It's just another microfighter. Nothing too special, but you're adding 1 minifigure, 2 pieces, 3 pieces in the set, and you're charging $6 more. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad build. It's just ridiculously overpriced. I mean, $17 is just not happening. Sorry. Then next we had number 19. This might surprise a lot of people, and honestly, this surprised me, but I put the 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper Battle Pack. Now, this is down really low for a couple of reasons. One is because I honestly believe every set above this is more worth like buying, right? If you had a decision what to buy, I think all the sets above this I would buy first before this one for a couple of reasons. A battle pack is, and its true intent is supposed to be an army builder. And so when you put someone special like Captain Vaughn in it, it kind of takes away from, it kind of derives it of that meaning. And on top of that, once you butcher a minifigure like that with the printing and the inaccuracies of it, it rubbed me the wrong way. I thought they were really lazy with it. And then not to mention, we just got the 332nd Clone Troopers not that long ago. I think it was 2020, maybe 2021. And I think the helmet printing was better, more accurate. It just had to knock it down for all of the wrong reasons. Again, it's not a terrible battle pack. I just think all the sets above it are surprisingly better. In fact, the biggest problem going forward isn't really if the set's better, if the price isn't really that great. This one didn't suffer from the price, more or less the set itself.
Yeah. Number 18, we got Darth Vader's mech. Set number 75368, $16, 139 pieces, and of course your 1 minifigure. The main reason I'm not a huge fan of the mechs is because it just doesn't fit. If you go the other mechs that Lego has done, some of them done really well, especially in Ninjago, where they have mechs. Where in the shows, they are in mechs, so it fits a lot. This doesn't make sense. It's not on scale. There's no real application except for giving it to a little kid. And then on top of that, giving it to a little kid's acceptable because it's Lego, it's a play toy, but it's $16. It's overpriced for what it is. This is really close to the other mechs, really. They're not too much different between the 3 of them, but it's just mechs don't really fit Star Wars a ton, and the way they did it just was overpriced, to say the least. Number 17, Stormtrooper mech 75370, Also $16, one less piece. Same deal here, really. They're the same thing. Nothing too special. Just doesn't fit Star Wars a ton.
The only reason the Stormtrooper's a little bit above it is just because at least you can kind of like build an army with it, right? If you get enough of these, you can, couple Stormtroopers and you can make it work. The next one we have, number 16, the Tenu Jedi Temple. Now, this one is obviously massively overpriced, coming in at $40, 124 pieces. I mean, they say 4 minifigures, but it's really only 3. One of them is a brick-built minifigure. It's massively overpriced, and that's the biggest problem with this one. But for what it is, it's a 4+ TV show. That's what the set is built off of. It kind of hits it on pinpoint accuracy, and that's why it's surprisingly high. I mean, I'm never gonna buy this just to have, or to play with, but I give it props for what it's supposed to be and what it is, and that is, for the crowd, a 4+ set, and that's what it's based off of. So I'm glad that Star Wars not only created this, but Lego is also kind of creating sets around this crowd. It works perfectly. And then we do actually have the Boba Fett above all those. Now, we just talked about the mechs not being a really great idea in general, especially for the new age of Lego Star Wars fans being a little bit older. This one's a little bit higher just because the accuracy and the detailing of Boba Fett, the minifigure that comes in this set, is just amazing. They put a lot of effort, it seemed like this one. Why, I don't really know, but it is above and beyond what we've seen in the last couple of years for Boba Fett recently, and I just appreciate it. So I had to go better than all the other mechs from me.
Yep, and number 14, we got Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, 75360, coming in at $35. It is 253 pieces and 2 minifigures if you count the droid R2-D2 as a minifigure. It's relatively low for a Starfighter. Usually we put it higher. It has nothing really wrong with it. The Starfighter works pretty well. The only problems are there's no unique minifigures. Last year, we got Kenobi's Starfighter, which came with a unique minifigure that worked really well with it. And then on top of it, $34 seems expensive, and it's smaller than the previous one. So nothing really new to the table, a relatively expensive one, and nothing special.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were expecting possibly Darth Bane as a minifigure in that set because this ship, Yoda Starfighter, kind of derives from season 6 of Clone Wars when Yoda goes and sees Darth Bane. I forget which planet it is on. So that's like the only minifigure, and that's what we were hoping for, but it just seemed like a set that we didn't really need, which the set above it is very similar. The number 13 Pirate Snub Fighter set, 75346, again, $35, 285 pieces, so more pieces and then 2 minifigures as well. This is coming from the new season of Mandalorian. These are very similar in statue and the worth and everything in general. They're pretty much, if you put them next to each other, I mean, they don't look the same, obviously, but you can kind of see like these are the same in value, right? Except, Snub Fighter is more unique. It's something we haven't had before, especially recently, and otherwise it's very similar to the Yoda Starfighter. It's also kind of derived of an extra minifigure, I think. I think it's the biggest thing wrong with both of these. The builds are great on both. Both are sturdy, accurate, great play functions. I just think an extra minifigure for $35 would have been good for both.
And then number 12, we got Tusken Raider Brickheads, set number 40615, $10, 152 pieces. There's really just nothing wrong with this. The Brickhead, we get them all the time. There's nothing too crazy about it, but it was very accurate, very well done, and it comes in at $10, just leaving a very reasonable price. All around good Brickheads. There's nothing bad to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like right in the middle of the list for a reason because it's a solid brickhead. It's a solid Lego Star Wars build. And the one following after number 11 is the same story. It's going to be the Battle of Endor Heroes brickheads, set 40623, coming in at $40. It's a great build. I think the only thing is I would have liked to see the different mini brickhead. I think Luke for Han would have been nice, or Chewie. They kind of went with the Endor stuff. I mean, it's Battle of Endor Heroes, but Luke wasn't really on Endor; he was on the Death Star, right? So that's just my preference, but it's right there with the Tusken Raider. It's got great value for 5 brickheads. Technically, you're only paying $40. It's actually exceptionally a great brickheads deal. Just preference, I would have liked to see a different brake kit in the pack, but it's a great build for sure. Number 10, this might surprise a lot of people. We got the Coruscant Guard Gunship. The reason this one's kind of right in the middle as well, on the higher echelon of the middle, is because it's, I'm biased. I'm a Clone Wars fan. But the reason it's right in the middle is because this has got a lot of things wrong with it, but a lot of things that are great with it, honestly. So it kind of just evened it out in the middle. Things that were great with it were the minifigure selection I did love, right? We got Coruscant Guard, obviously that's what the ship is. We haven't seen him in a long time. It's been like a decade, whatever it was. And then we got Clone Wars Palpatine. That's always great to see a new rendition. Clone Wars Padme, same thing. And then Commander Fox. These are all great choice selections. And while they've knocked almost all of them out of the park, you kind of have to take something away. You got to give it a big con. They didn't do a very good job with the printing for Fox. They missed a lot of obvious spots. That just kind of, it takes away from the excitement of, ooh, we get Captain Fox, but ooh, they kind of botched it in a way, right? Then that's why it evens it out. And then the build's only $140. We were expecting this to be $160, if not $170. And they're doing it in Coruscant Guard. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be, what we've always kind of wanted. All these mocks we've seen online on Pinterest or people sell instructions for. We're finally getting it sold by Lego, but it's kind of small, right? Because they kept it at $140, they had to bring it down to size, kind of shorten the pieces count, and it suffered in the build size. It's hard to get your hand and get minifigures even in the actual gunship, which is very unfortunate. So there's a lot of great things going for it, but a lot of, unfortunately, bad things that just kind of even it out in the middle. How they go forward with gunships, I don't know. I hope they don't keep it at this lower price. I would actually wish for them to kind of bump it up to that 160, just so they can give it the honor and respect of the previous gunships, of kind of giving it the pieces that it needs to be accurate and have the play functions at the same time. Because this was pretty accurate, but it had surprisingly not a lot of play functions. So it's a great build, but it's definitely got its flaws.
Yeah. Coming in at number 9, we have the Spider Tank. Set number 75361, $50, 526 pieces and 3 minifigures. It was all around a pretty solid set. It's a cool build. It looks good. Bo-Katan is looking better than ever in minifigure form. All around, there's just nothing negative to say about this set.
Yeah, it's just a solid build, honestly. It could go a little bit lower, I wouldn't argue, but there's just a hard time finding flaws. You can kind of argue the price, but then you look at the piece count and you're like, oh, it actually kind of, it's pretty close to what it should be, maybe an extra minifigure. But at the time when this set was released, Mandalorian was still kind of coming out. And so Lego didn't actually have anything to go off of. They were just going off of concept art. So you kind of got to give them props for what they did have to work with. Number 8, we have the Millennium Falcon Holiday Diorama. This is surprisingly high for me because mostly for what this is supposed to be, it's just a holiday diorama. And the sequel trilogy, it does it. And it brings things that we've never really seen, right? We get the Jedi Temple book. I don't really know when Lego was ever going to add that, but it's something I think we kind of all wanted. Like, oh, this is a cool addition to have for our own mocks or whatever in Lego. And we kind of didn't have a way of getting it, and now we did. And it was cool to have that. It's cool to finally get the sequel characters back. I know the fans are kind of split on the sequels to the end of the day, no matter what. But there are still fans that appreciate the sequels. So it's good to finally get them back in Lego in some sense. And it came out during the holidays, and it was nicely priced. It wasn't overpriced. It was a good little holiday thing you could get for your kid or for a nephew or for a niece or for a cousin. That was only $30. It was pretty fair price for what it was. So I just think it was a knockout of the park for what it was supposed to be.
Coming in at number 7, Yavin 4 Rebel Base. Set number 75365, $170, 1,066 pieces, and 12 minifigures. The build, it's not bad by any means, but it's nothing too crazy. You get a nice little scene. The 12 minifigures, that's the most we've seen in Star Wars in a pretty long while, if I'm not mistaken. It's a good looking set, and there's nothing too wrong. The only ththing that really gets you is the $170 price point. A lot of minifigures is still a good selection of minifigures, multiple unique ones.
They make it worth your while with that. And honestly, you can probably find this cheaper on Amazon or something at some point this year pretty easily. it's something that we've been waiting for. Yavin 4. I mean, in a giant playset like this, it's just awesome to have.
This coming in at number 6, we have Ahsoka Tano's T6 Jedi Shuttle, set number 75362, $80, 601 pieces, and 4 minifigures. This is one of my favorite sets of this year, obviously. That's why we put it at number 6. It's definitely up there. It's a fun, playable build. It's probably one of the most versatile things that we have on this list. It's very playable. You can go give it to a kid. They'll have fun with it. It spins really well, so you can hold it on there. It's very accurate. The minifigures are a great selection, and it's sturdy. Not very many times do we have something with a lot of play functionalities that's very sturdy. And it's just, there's nothing really wrong with it other than the $80 price point is like, $70 is fair. But at the same point, with everything you're getting here, it's a really good set.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with that one is just the price. I mean, the Mandalorian Fang Fighter or Mandalorian Gauntlet was $60, and that came out 2 years ago, and they're literally the same exact size, and it's very similar to piece count. So I think a $20 price jump wasn't fair, but that's the only knock with it. I mean, it's great minifigures, great build, like Afton said. Breaking into our top 5, we've got the 501st Clone Trooper Battle Pack, set 75345, coming for $20, 199 pieces, and 4 minifigures. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like the helmet holes, but that's what this whole battle pack is about. It's just they're different specialists, and so they have different helmet holes because you can put different attachments on that. And I think that is so awesome for a kid to have that opportunity to do that. You can make a guy have none of the attachments or have any of the different attachments. And there's 3 different attachments, so that's really versatile. I think it's really awesome for what it is. And then for what it's based off of, it's technically based off of the Battlefront 2 clone characters we see with the specialty classes. And they're pretty accurate for the most part. I just think this was a very unique and outside the box idea for LEGO, especially since they just did the 501st Battle Pack only a couple years ago. And I love it. I think it was amazing. I'm very happy they finally made a micro binocular mold for the clone troopers. I feel like that's way overdue, but they finally did it. This is just a really great, unique battle pack, and I think this is kind of what a battle pack should be. If they're not going to just give them a standard guys, if they want to give us some unique guys, kind of do it like this. Kind of give us the opportunity to change it up ourselves. People want to buy a battle pack more than once. Most kids do. That's, you're trying to build an army. That's a lot of kids' whole point of buying these battle packs is they can have as many as you want, right? So this one I just think was very versatile for what it was.
Coming in at number 4, we have the TIE Bomber, set number 75347, $65, 625 pieces, and 4 minifigures if you're counting that Gonk droid right there. Darth Vader, you get him in a million sets, but he's still a character. You can't leave him out. He's awesome. Vice Admiral Sloan was a good addition to this, and then you get the TIE Pilot and a couple little things here and there on the side, probably to add to the piece count. You get a little cargo to load into the TIE Bomber, and of course bombs. But the thing about this is it's priced a little bit more than the TIE Fighter, and you get so much more. It's a really sturdy build. It's really accurate. There's just nothing wrong with it. The price is much more fair than the others, and it does seem like, yes, they added some more than they had to with the little cargo here and there, but it's better than them just jacking up the price and giving you something something that's not necessary at all. That stuff fits with the set. It's overall, there's really nothing you can say that's really bad about this.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, I was having a hard time not putting this at number 1. This is one of my favorite sets of the year. When this came out at the beginning of the year, I was like, this is going to be set of the year unless they release something way better. And they did, but this was a really good set to start us off with the year.
Coming in at number 3, we have the New Republic Ewing versus Shin Hades Starfighter, set number 75364, coming at $110, 1,056 pieces, and 5 minifigures. There's, again, once we get to the top 5, top 4, there's nothing bad to say about these sets. 2 relatively large ships that easily could both go for $50 by themselves, and then you get 5 minifigures. I mean, when you combine all this into one set, you really can't complain about the high price. This was right when Ahsoka was coming out. It looks good. It's sturdy. There's really nothing bad to say about this. I mean, I like the builds. The color designs also pop a lot, especially on Shin Hades' ship. Like,
both of their ships. I mean,
yeah.
the blue and yellow is just, man, it's lovely to the eye. And the minifigure selection, it's hard to not put this higher in itself. The top 4 and 5, especially the top 4, are all smashes out of the park. Number 2, we've got the Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus the TIE Interceptor, set 75348, coming at $100, 957 pieces, and 4 minifigures, technically speaking. Some people count the droid, some people don't. This is just absolutely amazing. I think we haven't got the TIE Interceptor in a very long time. We finally get it back in playset form, and it's just gorgeous. It's a great TIE Interceptor. And to match it, they give us a nice little Fang Fighter, which I don't believe we've gotten a Fang Fighter before. I could be mistaken. It's not a ship we see a lot. We usually see the Mandalorian Gauntlet, which is very similar, but the Mandalorian Fang Fighter is just a one-seater, smaller version of that. And it's cool to actually kind of get that in Lego form, if not for the first time. I could be mistaken. Great minifigure selection. It's just basic stuff. TIE Pilot, Mandalorian, Grogu, Mandalorian fighter pilot, and then the droid. It's a great. The thing with this is there's just nothing wrong with it. You can try to think of something, but there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing that stands out super crazy. The minifigures aren't crazy unique, but it's just so solid that when you spend $100, you spend the whole price point. You don't look for a deal on this one. You don't end up feeling bad at all. You don't have any buyer's remorse for this one. It just seems like it's worth every single dollar for sure. And then lastly, coming in at number 1 for I think most people this year is the Ghost and Phantom 2. Like I said, the last 4 you could have switched up, but I think the reason the Ghost goes on top above and beyond all is because it's just a fan favorite. And when they do fan favorites, there's a lot on the line, right? If they make one mistake, people are going to be jumping on it. And when this came out for $160 with 5 minifigures, 1,394 pieces, it just seemed worth every single dollar. From the Phantom being able to come in the set with it, not having to buy it separately was a huge bonus, to being Super Bowl attachable and unattachable. When it's not in the ship, it doesn't look grossly missed, right? Because the problem with the other Ghost was when the Phantom wasn't in it, it just looked like it was missing a huge part of it. When the Phantom was in it, it just looked like it was dragging it down. The Phantom works perfectly in this one. There's finally an interior. The minifigure selection is out of the park. This whole set is just, when a fan favorite ship comes around like this, especially one that's been, people have been begging for a remake, and they do it right like this, people are willing to spend every single penny on it. And I think this is no excuse. I got to say, Amazon really lucked out that they got an exclusive for this set especially. They got the Razor Crest, and then they get this one. Boy, I think Amazon's going to get some sales with these sets for sure. It's an absolutely banger of a set. I definitely recommend getting this one. Even at that $160 price point, which may seem steep, it's just such a fun set. It's a great set for collectors. It's an all-around banger. Definitely the best set of 2023, I think. And even if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're just a Lego fan, you can kind of look at all of these and you can kind of agree with that one for sure. So there you guys have it. Let us know what you guys agree with, disagree with. Let us know what your favorite set from 2023 is and your least favorite from 2023 is. I know I'm a little bit harsh on microfighters, but that's just the way I feel. I'm sorry, folks. With that, I hope you guys did enjoy this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, don't forget to hit that download and follow. And with that, we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.